Hey everyone, welcome to the Breakthrough Entrepreneurs podcast where we empower both new and experienced entrepreneurs, high performers, business owners to overcome the challenge of work life balance, break bad, old, unhealthy, negative habits, behaviors, and build new habits, create new rituals. I'm your host. Hey everyone, welcome to the Breakthrough Entrepreneurs podcast where we empower both new and experienced entrepreneurs. Hey everyone, welcome to the Breakthrough Entrepreneurs podcast where we empower both new and experienced entrepreneurs, high performers, business owners to overcome the challenge of work life balance, break bad, old, unhealthy, negative habits, behaviors, and build new habits, create new rituals, new routines. I'm your host, Muhammad. Hey everyone, welcome to the Breakthrough Entrepreneurs podcast where we empower both new and experienced entrepreneurs, high performers, business owners to overcome the challenge of work life balance, break bad, old, unhealthy, negative habits, behaviors, build new habits, create new rituals, new routines. I'm your host, Muhammad Faraj, and today our topic is build the habit of prioritizing the most important task in your day. In this episode, I'll be breaking down a shift that I made in my own life, and I believe if you make this shift in your entrepreneurial life, I think it will change the game for you in your business, in your healthy life, and therefore you will be achieving more. You will be growing your business. You will be enhancing your productivity, the way you manage your time, your energy, your focus, your productivity. So, for you as an entrepreneur, the most important step or habit you can build in your entrepreneurial life is to prioritize the most important task, or what we call the Hey everyone, welcome to the Breakthrough Entrepreneurs podcast where we empower both new and experienced entrepreneurs, high performers, business owners to overcome the challenge of work life balance, break bad, old, unhealthy, negative habits, behaviors, build new habits, create new rituals, new routines. I'm your host, Muhammad Faraj, and today our topic is build the habit of prioritizing your most important task. In this episode, I'm gonna break down a shift that I have made in my own entrepreneurial life, and I believe if you make this shift in your entrepreneurial life too, it will change the game for you. So, I think the most important habit you can start to build as an entrepreneur is to prioritize your most important task in the morning, in your day. This is very, very important. If you want to achieve your goals, if you want to expand your field, if you want to grow your business or scale, this is a game changer for you. This habit is a game changer for you. So this is how you do it. When you do journaling, I mean it depends if you're doing at the end of the day, on the evening, or if you start your day with journaling first and then you start working in your business or in your to-do list, which you focus on your productivity, on your focus, and you start doing those tasks, projects on your to-do list. But I prefer that when you do journaling at the end of the day, on the evening, right before you go to bed or end your day, I recommend that you do journaling because this is an important step or habit for this habit for prioritizing. Why? Because when you plan your next day, when you have scheduled your tasks, your projects for the next day, and you have prepared a to-do list which is consisted of at least 5, 6, maybe sometimes it's 3, maybe sometimes it's 7 tasks that you need to focus and work on in the next day. But anyway, when you do journaling, when you schedule or plan your first most important task, you need to build the second habit, which is prioritizing it. So first thing, when you wake up in the morning, you have clarity, you have a clear mind, you know what you're going to working on, you know how you're going to start your first task, your first project, or what we call the task that moves the needle in your business. So what I recommend is that after you do your morning routine, you start with the ugliest task, with the task that requires the most focus, the most time, the most energy consuming task. This task is very, very important. You focus on this first thing in the morning before you do the low level or value tasks. You need to start with the hardest task. I think every successful entrepreneur knows that, and every successful entrepreneur, when I listen to their interviews or watch their documentaries or listen to their podcasts, they always emphasize and mention this in their content, which is prioritizing the most important task in the morning. Why? Because when you wake up in the morning, you have slept at least for 7 hours or 8 or 9, depends on the individual, and you are in your peak energy, you are in your peak performance. You have slept all these hours. During these hours, you didn't work, you didn't do any movement or exercises, you didn't work, you didn't consume any energy or any effort, so you didn't think about anything, you haven't got any thoughts or feelings. So you wake up in the morning, you are refreshed, you're active, you are in your peak performance, in your peak activity. So when you start your most important task in the morning, you are capable of working on this task. You are able to focus, to be productive, especially after you do your morning routine. That's why I emphasize always in my previous episodes, and I always recommend that you start your day with a morning routine with good, healthy, positive habits, because those habits will not only serve you in during the day, they will serve you especially when you start your day. This is the most important. You want to aim or seek for the first win in your day. So after you do your morning routine or your morning rituals, you start with the most important barrel in your day. You start to first with the most important task, because you are striving, because you are aiming to win the day. You want to win your first task. You want to do the hardest task first in the morning, before you get any distractions, before life urgency gets on the way. Some of us are single, some of us have families, and we all know that it's normal that we sometimes schedule our day, our tasks, our projects, our activities as an entrepreneurs, but you never know what happens later on the day. You never know if you get any phone call or something urgency happens and you need to leave your work, or maybe some other thing that can pop up, for example meetings or something that you're not expected or you didn't anticipate it. So that's why I recommend that you invest your time, your energy, your focus, your productivity on the most important or the ugliest or the hardest task that moves the needle in your business, that help you grow, that help you scale, expand your business. So Once you're done with the hardest or most important task, you can do the rest of your tasks and projects feeling happy, progressed, relaxed, with sense of relief because you know you are already done with the most important task. You know that you have prioritized the most important task in your day, and now it's time to start working on the rest. Because so many times when we postpone our most important task to do it later on the day, it doesn't happen. Like 90% you don't do it because as you work, as much as you consume time and energy, as much as you start to get tired. You see, so many entrepreneurs, they feel slow in their performance. They feel sluggish, tired, less energy. When? Especially after noontime, after the lunch. Because after the lunch, you eat a little bit heavy meal or you have been working for a few hours, so you are in the middle of the day. So this is where your energy decreases. You feel tired, you want to rest, you want to relax, you want to do something else. Your brain has consumed time, energy, and effort. So it's very, very odd that you will be focused or excited or energized or active or productive or ready to work on the most important task in the middle of the day, afternoon, or on the evening. That's very odd. I don't hear so many people do that. But most successful entrepreneurs that I know, they start their day with, for example, writing or creating content or doing something very, very efficient or a task that requires so much time, effort, energy, focus. So that's why successful people, they do it first in the morning, because once you make your first win, once you're done or completed your first task, the rest will fall into place. The rest will be easy to implement, to work on. Me personally, I always start with writing. I write articles, blogs. I write the first pages of my book because I know after I do my morning routine, I get so many ideas flowing around. I get so many new ideas about projects, about scaling, about my business, about my health, about building new habits. So this is where I feel my peak energy, my peak performance. So I start with writing, I start with creating content to help you break through in your entrepreneurial life. So I always plan ahead the night before or on the evening when I do my journaling. I plan and schedule my most important task because this is a part of my journaling, is that you ask yourself, what is the most important task that I need to focus or complete for the day? So that's why it's very important that you focus and pay attention and you start with a positive intention, because here we're not seeking for perfection, we're seeking for intention. And once you finish or complete your first task, you are done. You know you have accomplished the most important task for the day, and the rest will be much easier to implement, because this is how we do good habits. First, we start with a good habit, and it'll be easy. It will give us the momentum. It will give us the feeling of progress, the feeling of excitement to do the rest of the habits. So it's just like the domino effect. You do one habit and that will affect other habits. So if you start your day with a good, positive, productive habit, odds are it'll be easy for you and you have a 90% chance to do and implement or perform the other habits. So this is very, very important that you need to pay attention to in your entrepreneurial life. Start your day with the most important task. Just like the most successful and author recommends, which is called Brian Tracy. He always recommends that you start your day by eating the frog. Eat the ugly frog first in the morning, and the rest will fall into place. So this is very productive habit that you need to include in your morning routine, because when you start your day with a first win, it will be very easy for you and it will enable you to do the other wins too. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed and got some benefits from listening to this episode. And my goal is to help you break through in your entrepreneurial life and achieve success, happiness, and fulfillment. Thank you so much for listening or watching, and I can't wait to publish a new episode to help you break through in your entrepreneurial life. Bye, everyone. That wasn't bad.